The great thing about boxing is that a mediocre fighter can only be manufactured for so long. Eventually, the ring exposes everyone. Today, boxing fans around the world are wondering whether 22-year-old Ryan Garcia, 20-0 with 17 knockouts, is a coddled fighter or the real deal. Because of his looks, his social media following, and his flashy hands, Garcia has received more media attention than most boxers receive in their lifetimes. This has led boxing fans to wonder whether Garcia is as good as we're being told, or whether he will fail as soon as he gets tested. The answer might come on January the 2nd as the undefeated prospect takes on veteran Olympic gold medalist Like Campbell. In this video, we'll delve into some of the questions lingering around the fight and what each man has to do to come out victorious. Let's start with Ryan Garcia. The first things that you notice when watching him fight are his length and his hand speed. The kid is fast on the trigger, and his last two performances, both of which ended with first-round knockouts, have led people to praise his punching power. The first-round stoppage of Fonseca in particular remains his crowning jewel, since fellow young gun Gervonta Davis struggled with Fonseca before awkwardly putting him away in the 8th round. Garcia has a good sense of distance, a good arsenal of shots, which he can use to lead or to counter, and has sharp reflexes, which, when combined with his length, makes him a highly elusive target. Another good thing about him is that he likes to feint, which makes anticipating his quick hands even harder to accomplish. Still, the problem with Garcia is that he's never fought any world-class competition, which has led people to label him as an overrated commodity. The same cannot be said of Like Campbell. Although he's failed to beat his best two opponents, the ultra-talented Jorge Linares and pound-for-pounder Vasyl Lomachenko, Campbell did not disgrace himself in defeat as he went the distance with both men and landed his share of shots, even going so far as to hurt Lomachenko. The problem going into the Garcia fight is that Campbell will not only have to contend with Garcia's fast and potentially explosive hands, but also up against the mighty King Ryan army. Alright, that's enough of that. The point is, and there is a point to this, is that most fans believe that Garcia, because of his potential to cross over as a mainstream boxer, will be receiving the benefit of the doubt from the judges should the fight go the distance. This has all the markings of a potentially disputed decision, in part because both guys are counterpunchers, and Like Campbell, who will be forced to go above and beyond his usual performances to get the decision win, is not a pressure fighter. Neither is he a one-punch knockout artist against top competition. That being said, the most important thing for Campbell is to avoid getting wobbled or dropped in his fight, because one such moment could see him being deducted 100 points from the allegedly biased judges for just one fall. And see, that's the problem with Campbell. He can be dropped, as evidenced by his first fight against Ivan Mendy, the Jorge Linares fight, and the Vasyl Lomachenko fight. To Campbell's credit, he did rise from all those falls and he made it a distance, but if Garcia's power is legit, then it stands to reason that Campbell's bottom might be meeting the canvas this coming Saturday. On the other hand, Campbell does appear to be less sloppy than Garcia. Campbell possesses excellent footwork, solid conditioning, which saw him get the best of Linares late in their fight, and which also allowed him to survive vicious body shots against Lomachenko. He also possesses a great control of the distance, a cracking jab, sharp check hooks, and perhaps his most underrated weapon, body shots. Lefts to the body allowed him to keep Ivan Mendy at bay in the rematch, which, combined with excellent footwork and defense, earned Campbell a decision win. The body shots also kept Linares and Lomachenko honest. Body work will be crucial against the thin Garcia, whose narrow waist is ripe for the picking. Campbell is going to have to make sure to properly set up his punches though, and to avoid being in range after the shots, because Garcia will be looking to counter. In a way, although Campbell might not get credit from the judges, it is doubtful that he gets beat up in this fight. If Garcia does stop him, it will probably stem from one shot or a follow-up barrage, because the reality is that so far, Garcia has shown to be a one-dimensional fighter. He can handle himself a bit on the inside, land a couple of body shots, and even be a little dirty with his forearm to set up right hands, but he's failed to show that he can chase guys down and use his power to stop them. Case in point, his fights with journeyman Jason Velez and Carlos Morales. In the Velez fight, Garcia seemed content to pick off the Puerto Rican toughman for all 10 rounds, preferring to launch one punch at a time. Garcia fought the same way against Morales in what proved to be a tougher fight than expected. Morales made himself difficult to hit and also landed hard shots of his own. He even wobbled Garcia with a stiff jab. On top of this, Garcia, despite throwing single shots, looked winded in the late rounds. This isn't a good look, considering that both Velez and Morales went on to be stopped by Oscar Valdez and Jorge Linares, whereas Garcia had to settle for decision wins. This might have occurred not because he can't hit hard, but because he doesn't have the volume punching, the combinations, or the pressure tactics or the stamina to get his power across. Mediocre stamina will be unacceptable against a guy like Campbell who has gone 12 rounds with the best of them. The other thing that Garcia will need to avoid is to lunge in with his shots, whether they are to the head or to the body. Whenever he throws shots, he tends to leave his chin up in the air a little bit and his hands away from it. To his credit, he's shown quick reflexes in pulling his head and his head back in order to protect himself, but this has been mostly accomplished against shorter and slower fighters. Against Campbell, he'll be fighting a quick fighter who happens to have a reach advantage and only an inch in height disadvantage according to BoxRec. Perhaps the best thing for Campbell to do is to change levels and to weave under Garcia's wide hooks, thus making Garcia drop his hands and be open for overhand shots. Campbell will also have to be mindful of not staying in Garcia's range, for he too leaves himself wide open in certain situations. I mean, just look at this. So fellas, can Campbell get a fair shake from the judges? Is his volume of punching as well as his counter-punching style too passive to go above and beyond what potentially biased judges will want? Will Garcia's power be too much for him? And will Garcia's partnership with the Reynoso start showing world-class results? Or will he prove to be an overrated fighter? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, folks. Take it easy.